welcome to my channel. In this video I am going to show you how to solve coding questions of previous CoCubes exam. So let's go to the problem statement. So this is the first problem statement we are going to solve. So counting the numbers within the given range having digits of 1, 4, 9. So if you see the test case you will understand clearly. So the given input is having like two numbers. One is like start limit and end limit. So within the range of 100 to 200 you have to count the numbers which are having the digits of 149. So the return output will be 9. So such numbers are there, like 9 numbers. So if you see the explanation you can clearly understand the question. It means that the number should be with digits 149 only. Okay, for example assume 146, which is a number between 100 to 200. So in this, if you see, there are 3 digits, 6, 4 and 1. So where 1 and 4 are accepted, I mean valid digits based on their condition, and 6 is an invalid digit. So this is an invalid number, so we are not going to count it. So if you see the range numbers, so these are the 9 numbers. We got the 9 as output, right? So such 9 numbers are this thing. Like 111, 114, all those things are the numbers. So let's move to the solution. So in CoCubes exam, they give you the problem statement along with the program, and your job is just to add the code in the mentioned block, and you don't have any chance to modify any line over there. Your job is just to add the code where they mention. So this is the block. So this selected block, you can see the blue color selected block. So in that only you can modify the code. So I just wrote some code. Other than that you cannot create any new methods whatever you want, and even you don't get any suggestions over there. So you have to remember all the predefined methods or everything, right? So if you see, they give you the main method. In the main method they are calling the user defined method count numbers with 149 digits. Some method they will give you, and the type, I mean input is also given 100 and 200. Okay, so sometimes it may change, not only 3-digit numbers, it may be some 4-digit range may always change, right? So for all inputs all the test cases should be matched. So what am I doing is, so this is the start limit and this is the end limit inclusive of start and end. So these are the variables required to me, so I have taken. So let's do one thing. Our job is to count within the range. So range means definitely we have to take a for loop. So I have taken a for loop. If you see, this is the selected area where the for opens and close. So the loop is starting with the number start and ending, if you see, less than or equal to, and always increments by a number. So this for loop will take 100 iterations. Okay, so my logic is, for any number first I will check how many valid digits are there. Okay, so that valid digit count should match with the actual digit count. Okay, so if you see, this is a block which is calculating count of a number, I mean how many digits are there in a given number, right? So this I am going to compare with what? Actual digits, I mean valid digits. So how will I get the valid digits? Using this block. So finally I am going to compare this both. If both are matching, then I increment. Okay, so for counting the digits of a given number, so we always will take a temporary variable, right? So because when while doing that the temp variable becomes 0. So I is a variable which always changes for every iteration. So for example, start is 100. Imagine, let's solve for the 100. So temp is equal to 100 right now. Okay, so we are counting the digits because 100 is a number with 3 digits. So you will hold the variable called count with 3. So here I declared on the top, which is initially given as 0. Okay. So temp is also declared on the top, and this block you understood, I think. And next, this, for counting the valid digits, again you have to take one more temp variable. So that's why I named it as num. So again initializing num with I. So after getting that num, how am I comparing? So you get a digit by taking the remainder every time and dividing by 10, right? So what am I doing is, once I get the remainder, I mean I get the first digit, I'll compare whether it is not equal to 1 or 4 or 9. So it's an invalid digit. I will stop counting the other digits. So I'll skip the number. So that's why I'm just breaking the loop. If I say break, it completely comes out of the while loop. Okay, not from the if. It completely breaks the while loop. Okay, so once it comes out of the while, it stops checking the number. That is like, if you check 100, the first digit will be in the remainder as 0. So this is the condition satisfied. It breaks the loop, and what it does, it comes down. So the digit count will be 0 because it is not incremented. Here it will not go. So this is 0 is compared with count. So actual count is 3. 0 is equal to 3. Never matches. So this condition is false. So what happens? If this condition is false, we are not counting such number. Suppose if you take 111, what happens? I am telling you one fail condition and a true condition. So if you take 111, however it goes in the 11th iteration. So if you say the count of the digit will be 3, 111 means 3. So in this block what happens? So it is equal to 1. So it will not go in the break statement. So definitely it will say digit count. So again next, for the second while iteration, again the remainder will be 1, right? So again digit count plus plus, so it becomes 2, and for other one it becomes 3. So it matches the 3 equal to 3, so that the count number becomes incremented. So if you say this variable counts the digits with 1 or 4 or 9. Okay, so every variable you understood how I made use of it. So, and you may get doubt why I use this two things, digit count and count. Why? Because so this is the actual count of a particular number. Imagine when you go for the second iteration, you'll have another number. So again you should initialize your count with 0, right? So that's why I made for every iteration of the number, this inside the for loop, the count becomes 0 and digit count becomes also 0. So that's why I made it 0 in the for loop. So I hope you understood this. And finally, once this happens, checking the whole for loop, when it comes out of the whole main for loop, the count number will be assigned with some number. So we are returning the number back. So this is the whole program. So I'll show you by running this. If you see, there is a print statement. Count is whatever this is returned by this method, that will be print. Let us run this. So if you see, such 9 numbers are there. If you want to see what are those numbers, so guys, so this is a for loop, you know, right? So for every iteration you will have a I variable, right? I is your current number. So if this is matching means what? It definitely goes inside, so that is a valid number. So you can just print the variable I. So just print I, because I is your iteration variable. These are temp and number temporary variables. So you should point about this is an actual variable one, I. So if you see, these are the 9 numbers. So when it is a valid, it goes inside the if block and prints the valid number. And the total count is 9. Okay, fine. So let's go to the next, second question. So find the difference of the sum of divisibles up to n by k and sum of non-divisibles up to n by k, where n is given number and k is divised. So guys, when you read the question, if you do not understand, read it for 3 times, 2 to 3 times, and still you did not understand, at least see the sample test case, you will definitely understand. Okay, so they are telling n is the given number and k is the divisor. Okay, so our job is to find the difference of whom, like sum of divisibles and sum of non-divisibles. So how will you check the divisibility? Suppose if you see, this is the 20 is the number like n and 4 is the variable k. So they are telling you have to find sum of divisibles up to n. Okay, like 20 they gave. So from 1 to 20, you have to check what are the numbers divisible by 4. Okay, so after checking, you will sum it up. If you see the explanation, you can clearly understand divisibles up to 20 by 4. Okay, so from 1 to 20, these are the divisible numbers by 4. What is divisibility? Okay, so when you divide a number, suppose you take 3 mod, when you divide by a number, its remainder should be 0. So if you do this, what is the value you get? 3 percentile 4. So when you divide 3 by 4, what is the remainder you get? 3. 3 never matches to 0. The condition fails. So this is not divisible. So 3 is not divisible by 4. And finding the factors, finding the divisibility, both are different, both are not same. Okay. So these are such numbers which divisible by 4, and if you see, other than this 5 numbers, all are non-divisibles, you will understand. So these are the set of numbers which are non-divisibles of 4. So now what is he asking? This whole sum is like 60, and this set of this number's sum is 150, and the difference is, he is asking 150 minus 60, that is 9. So we have to give the output 90, nothing but the input is 2 integer arguments, one is the given number and other one is the divisor, and the output is difference of sum of divisibles and sum of non-divisibles of a given number up to given number by a particular divisor. I hope you understood this. So let's go to the solution. So this small piece of code will give you the output. So rest of the code, everything is given by them. Okay, so if you see, they gave you a user defined method called some method and having 2 integer arguments. So always input is your method arguments, output is your method return type. Okay, so we know the condition, this is to check the divisibility. Before that, up to the given number means what? There is a range of numbers from 1 to the given number. So definitely we will take a for loop. So I have taken a for loop, okay, which starts from 1 and less than or equal to up to the given number, and this happens increments by 1 always. So here you are going to check the condition, so that is divisible or not. So if it is divisible, you store that variable in a sum variable called divisible sum. So it is initially 0. I'm separately taking divisible sum and non-divisible sum. So this I am in, what I'm doing, I'm adding the divisible number. Always this is an assignment operator, right? So always it looks like this: divisible sum is equal to divisible sum plus the number. Okay, so when it fails the condition, I mean non-divisible, that happens and stores in the non-divisible sum variable. So it happens until the iterations happens, and it always sums. So finally you have to give the difference of this variable and this variable, but we don't know which is greater and smaller. So in that finding the difference, you may get a negative value. So for that reason I am taking math is a predefined class in Java, java.lang package. So math.ab is absolute is a predefined function in that class. So math.absolute returns an integer type. So in that function, what am I doing? I am passing the divisible sum anything, any way you can write. If it is negative, it makes to positive. That's it. So for that reason I have taken. Okay, so this is the solution. So I hope you understood. I hope you enjoyed this video. So please subscribe for more videos. Please subscribe, and you can, if you face any issues, you can mention in the comment section. Thank you.